Welcome back to the channel, Oh Spooky Biscuits. Today we're going to tell some first-hand ghost stories. I had a relative who worked up in McCarthy, Alaska, and told me some great first-hand spooky events that happened to them, told me some stories from different visitors to that town that are just consistently haunted and spooky. Do you believe in ghosts? What do you think? It's just a fun kind of pastime and a good way to tell stories, or do you think that there's something to it, that there is some energy, something that people are seeing and witnessing and feeling that is affecting them so much? Ooh. If you go out at sunset on to the glacier and you walk around, I am told that you hear the hollow kind of windy whispers of screams, and it's distinctive. Like, you can't deny that it sounds like human screams coming in on the wind. Super creepy. You never see anything, there's never a reason for it, right? And the person right next to you might not hear it, but that people hear this strange scream. It's so spooky. It would scare me so much to be standing there and then just hear on the wind. Oh my God, I would be petrified, because I feel like when paranormal things happen to you, your body senses that it's not normal. Your body can tell that something otherworldly is occurring. So, it's one thing to hear a scream, right? That would always worry you. But when your body knows that there's just something wrong with that scream, that it is, supernatural, I feel like your body reacts in a whole different way, right? So if you're ever up there, walking around in the evenings, you'll hear, there's a good chance you will hear these kind of screams on the wind that are so bone-chilling and distinctive that even though it doesn't make any sense and you know they shouldn't possibly be able to exist, they do. You know what you've heard, right? You can't deny your own senses, even when it doesn't add up with how maybe you view the world. It would be so scary. If you stay in the hotel in the main rooms, and this is a small little town that only has a grocery store for like a couple months in the summer, right? But if you're there in the summer visiting, you will feel the presence and frequently actually see a woman in some kind of dress, something not quite of this time, stalking you around. How disturbing is that? Can you imagine walking from your room, to the front desk to talk to the person that works there, and you get this sense that somebody's following you and the hair on the back of your neck stands up on edge, and you turn around, and instead of there being nothing like you think, there's not going to be anything. There's a misty, dark woman clearly stalking you down the hall, following you. As you pick up pace, she picks up pace with you. And you think about turning around again. You think, do I want to make sure what I think I saw is real? And maybe you don't. Maybe you just keep walking, even though you feel that coldness on your back, even though you hear the footsteps behind you. Maybe you can feel her breath on your ears and the back of your head. But do you want to risk turning around? What if that aggravates the situation? So you keep going and keep going. When you get to that little front desk, you suck in your breath, and the person at the front desk looks at you like there's nothing behind you, right? And you turn around, and you realize she's not there anymore, but you know what you saw, right? Multiple guests have reported this, and it's just such a creepy idea to be somewhere and to see these things. Not when you're half asleep and you can kind of make an excuse for that, right? But legitimately wide awake, and other people around you don't seem to have experienced the same thing, but you've seen it. Like, why were you able to experience that? What does that say about your closeness to the veil and your ability to see between the worlds? It would be so scary. Oh my gosh. I feel like a lot of these old towns that have had you know, disturbances in the earth, mining and digging and scraping and cutting and explosions and death and hardship and that dream of like making it big and changing things, only for those dreams to just be cut short and dashed and crushed. Something about all of that energy mixed together, it just seems to loosen up that veil, right? You know, it just seems to thin out that membrane between our worlds to where you see these things. And what's unusual here is that it feels almost like, from people's accounts, that the spirits, the ghosts, are almost aware of the people, like that have to be following somebody, or, you know, other stories of people's cups and things, glasses being moved, that they're somehow aware of you. And so many ghost stories, ghosts are just up to their old patterns. They aren't really aware you're there. And so it's a whole nother level if they recognize you, if they too stay between the veil and see you and can stalk you and follow you and breathe down your neck and move things and scream on the wind. I mean, that is a whole nother level, I think, because it's one thing to see through the other side. It's another thing when the other side sees through to you, and that feels almost much more chilling to me. I think that's very spooky. I smile because I love ghost stories. They're just so spooky and scary. I don't know if I would want a whole lot of spooky and scary things to happen to me. I think it's really interesting what that says about the afterlife and our souls and what we are made of, that these things get reported so much and talked about all the time. I think that's pretty powerful, because I don't know. I don't know what happens for sure. You know, I have my faith, but I don't know. And maybe it's comforting in a way to hear these stories, because hopefully it means that we are more than the physical, but then that's also, what more than the physical are we? Can the non-physical and the non-corporeal touch our realm and do things? Do they have malicious intention? I don't know. It's quite a spooky story. But whenever you can travel again, going up to Alaska, there's a ton of Alaska haunted spots. Oh my goodness, something about Alaska. I wonder where it is with all the ley lines across the earth. That would be interesting. I don't know how to answer that question. I'm gonna look that up. Something about Alaska just seems to attract a lot of otherworldliness and an ease of otherworldliness to contact it. And that always makes me really curious. Okay, biscuits, I'm gonna see you in the next video. Don't get too scared. If you're too scared, hug the person sitting next to you, because you know, ghosts are very scary. If you want a scary read, you can read my paranormal romance. It has a very evil demon hunting an entire coven of witches. You love to see if good conquers evil, or if evil destroys good. I'll see you in the next video. Hey, don't forget, give it a spooky, ghostly thumbs up. I'll see you in the next video.